Coming up on Eternal Companions, she was still crying in my arms when my husband entered our room dressed in a suit. I just mouthed, sorry, and he threw down the roses he was holding, screaming, fuck it, I can't take this shit anymore. He came back home around 3 a.m. and slept on the floor of our bedroom by his own wishes. Since then, he hasn't spoken to me. Welcome back to the Eternal Companions podcast. We're your hosts, Scott and Sarah.
On this podcast, we share the secret to developing and maintaining a long-lasting and fulfilling relationship.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yay. Today we're going to be reading some Reddit posts that are all Valentine's Day themed. And I do want to preface this by saying this episode might be marked as explicit. There are some cuss words. I'm just going to say them. We're all adults here. It's you and me, and that's it. So I'm just going to say the cuss words. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine.
Goodness gracious.
I know. Should I make up funny ones instead? No, that's too much work. Okay, so the difference with this episode is that normally we get our Reddit posts from r/marriage advice. These ones are from r/AmITheAsshole.
Ooh, drama.
Okay, so the goal with these is I'm going to read them to you. I'm going to ask you some specific questions, but then the last question I'm going to ask for each of them is, was the poster the asshole? And I would like for you to make an assessment. Okay.
At the end?
At the end. That's going to be my final question for you.
Yes or no.
Okay. Are you ready? Okay. Am I the asshole for not getting my wife anything for Valentine's Day?
I have a thought. I have an answer in my brain. Let's hear some context.
See. Okay. I am in trouble this week, and I'm not sure that I deserve to be. I, 35 female, did not get anything from my wife, 36 female, for Valentine's Day this year. Hear me out. I told her in August that since I was going to be unemployed and going to law school full-time the next 3 years, that I wouldn't be getting her or anyone else presents for the next 3 years. Mentioned it to her multiple times. She was then kind of mad at me for not getting her anything for Christmas despite this, but she got over it rather quickly. Monday morning, I texted her Happy Valentine's Day. She leaves for work before I get up. I did not get her any presents because I don't have any money. She got me a bag of jelly beans for Valentine's Day. I didn't need anything, but I thanked her anyway. She was very, very mad that I didn't get her a gift for Valentine's Day. She said I could have just gotten her a small gift or even something homemade.
Keep going, sorry.
I told her it didn't even cross my mind as I didn't have the money for gifts, but I will do that in the future. I then made her a homemade card, but she said that it didn't count because she had to ask. She also knows I do not like Valentine's Day as it reminds me of when my school was shot up in 2008. I also have had a cold all week and haven't been feeling well. She was still mad at me on Tuesday and reiterated the same points. It's now Thursday and she says she wants to forgive me but is still upset and feels that me not getting her something means I don't care. I said I don't feel like I should have to apologize as I told her I wouldn't have the money to get anyone gifts months ago. Am I the asshole?
Okay, I've got a lot of thoughts, but what are your questions?
Okay. My number one question is from the very first sentence. It says, I am in trouble this week. My question for you is, what is your opinion of people feeling like they're in trouble from their partner?
I think that is dumb. It's dumb. It might actually happen. It shouldn't.
No.
I don't think that should happen. In trouble?
Yeah.
It's like,
are you getting
grounded? Are we in grade school?
Yeah.
I think that maybe, I don't know, maybe they're just using the wrong words. There's absolutely your partner can be upset with you, but that doesn't make you in trouble.
I almost feel like it's a condescending way to say my partner is upset at me. Like, I'm in trouble. Like,
I'm in trouble.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They're upset with you, and that's allowed. And you've done something that caused them to be upset, and that's allowed. That happens. And we often, I don't know how many times we've said this, but every argument, I would bet one person is insensitive and the other person overreacts. I feel like we've said that on previous episode. In this case, the author of the post was insensitive and their wife overreacted.
Mm-hmm.
And so saying that you're in trouble is silly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true because you're equal partners. Right. There isn't one authority over the other to cause you to be in trouble.
I agree with that very much. Okay, my next question is, about halfway through the post it says, like, I told her in August that I was not going to get gifts, mentioned it to her multiple times. So this is, to me, showing that there wasn't a discussion. There wasn't, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to get gifts. Do you want to? What if neither one of us gets gifts? What if, could I borrow some of your money, since it seems like they're not sharing finances? So the fact that this person is like, oh, I told my wife, so she should understand. What's your opinion on that? Because I clearly disagree with that.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's better than nothing.
Right. It's better than no communication at all.
It's better than not saying anything and not getting a gift. But it's not great. And there's a couple things that you mentioned. First off, I'll bring up our relationship as an example. We are maybe overboard, but you created a PowerPoint presentation for our outline of our yearly budget. And we together went through all of the gift giving opportunities for the year for you and I to give to each other, to our child, and to others who are not living in this house with us. And we jointly decided on a budget for each of those things. And that can be done if you share finances.
Yes.
First off, you definitely should share finances if you're married. And we could maybe get into that in more detail in a different episode. But like, decide together. It's a joint decision, because for some people, which it sounds like this person, their love language could be giving gifts and receiving gifts.
Yes, absolutely. So if that was something that was very important to her, she could have said, you know, I don't care that you don't have money. I just want to see what you would get me. Like, can I give you $50? And like, you just get me something anyway, because I value you thinking of me in a special way more than I value me having $50 in the account, you know? So that's interesting.
There also could have been, like, both parties could have done things to avoid this situation.
Oh yeah.
The fronting of cash, the sharing of finances, the joint decision on budget beforehand, or even a gift that doesn't cost money.
Yeah, that's my next question. So like, she said, you could have given me something homemade. And then the wife was like, okay, yeah, I'll make you a card now. Yeah. And then she says, this doesn't count now. Like, I have felt that way before about things. Can I give an example?
Sure.
Okay. Recently, I told you, like, hey, I am feeling like I'm not getting enough words of affirmation. And I'd really appreciate if you notice I'm doing a good job parenting, if you told me that I'm a good mom. And then the rest of the day, I would go to the bathroom and you'd be like, you're a good mom. And like, it pissed me off because you were doing it as a joke, and I totally understand that. But it's the same vibe of like, okay, it doesn't mean anything to me if I just now told you and now you're doing something. So I can understand that perspective.
I can understand it as well. Hey, this gift doesn't count because it's super lame and you did it after the fact anyway. That's not the point of a gift, especially if it's this person's love language. They want some meaningful thought put into a gift so that they know that you love them. Right. Yeah.
Okay. This is my final question before the concluding question. So in the end, it talks about how she had a school shooting that she was a part of. She has a cold this week. Then there's this whole, I don't have money. Is she making excuses for her lack of thought towards her partner? Yeah. Or are these valid things to be considering?
You can buy a Valentine's gift a year in advance. It is absolutely excuses. Yeah. They are good excuses for if you had a restricted time limit to only this month or this week to buy a Valentine's gift. And also, if you're making something handmade that's meaningful, probably should have started a while ago anyway.
Right. That's a good point.
So, yeah.
Do you have any other major thoughts about this post?
Let's do the final question.
Is she the asshole?
Yes, with an asterisk.
Okay.
They are both the asshole.
Ooh, drama.
And so if we're comparing them relative to each other, Jelly Beans does beat out handmade card as an afterthought.
Yes.
Those are both trash gifts, first of all. But you might be in the situation where that's the best you can do.
Right.
Right. So you should first off communicate that with each other.
Yep.
But if you gave a bag of jelly beans, you can't be mad for getting nothing, because a bag of jelly beans is equivalent to nothing, in my opinion.
If you gave me a bag of jelly beans, I would say, please take these back. I do not want these stupid jelly beans. For Valentine's Day is such an easy kill also, because it's like you could write somebody a 10-page love letter.
Write a love letter.
You could make them a playlist.
Buy a nice box of chocolate.
Yeah, share
for
it.
$10.
Make an at-home date night where you do trivia together. Seriously, anything. Go on a walk together and organize something for your partner. That counts as a gift.
Yeah, an experience.
Yeah.
Stargazing.
So I believe this episode is coming out a couple days before Valentine's Day. So if you haven't thought of something for your partner yet, these are some ideas.
Yep.
Surprise them. Even if you normally don't get each other gifts, do an at-home date night, bake something together, play Scrabble, literally anything to set aside some time that's something special to do or to give them would be awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Okay.
Ready.
This one is my favorite. Okay. Am I the asshole for sending my girlfriend too many Valentine's Day flowers and making her sister's husbands look bad? Okay. To explain where I'm coming from here, I need to establish two things. One, I have a high-paying job that often requires I drop everything to travel without notice. It is infuriating at times, but I get paid well, so I've learned to live with it. 2, my girlfriend loves flowers more than anything. I get it. Most girls love flowers, but they are her favorite thing in the entire world. She literally makes me stop the car when we're driving just so she can take pictures of pretty flowers. Early in our relationship, I had to miss something important without notice. To make up for it, I sent her 3 dozen roses. She loved it and, probably as a joke, told me I had set the bar and that I had better always send her 3 dozen roses if I was ever going to let her down. We've been together 3 years since then, and I have always sent 3 dozen roses whenever we would be apart. It's a tradition and we both love it. On to the dilemma. Girlfriend got bad news about a family member's health and headed back to her hometown a couple weeks ago. I couldn't join. Her 2 sisters came back as well with their husbands. Valentine's Day came around, and although it wasn't my fault we weren't together, I ordered a gift of 3 dozen roses, a candy, and a stuffed animal. The day of, I got an alert from FedEx of a delayed shipment and panicked. It broke my heart to think she wouldn't get any flowers that day, so I called around to local florists and found one who could deliver them for a fee. I sent another gift pack of 3 dozen roses. Turns out FedEx managed to deliver the original package, so my girlfriend ended up with 6 dozen roses, 2 cards, 2 boxes of chocolates, and a teddy bear. She joked that I had now raised the bar and she expected no less than 6 dozen roses anytime we were apart. All jokes aside, I could tell she really appreciated the trouble that I went through. The next day, I heard from her sister's husbands. They were furious with me, saying I made them both look awful. Turns out one bought his wife a leftover bouquet of half-dead tulips, and the other didn't get his wife anything at all. I guess they both were going to use this commotion with the health scare as an excuse. My girlfriend ended up sharing her roses with both of her sisters so they could all feel special, but it was clear they were all from me. My instinct was to take a victory lap. But girlfriend's mom and dad called me and explained that they thought that I should apologize. While they appreciate me always making romantic gestures, I can afford to do so while their other daughters' husbands cannot. They see where things are going and assume we'll all be family soon, and it would be a good idea for me to make peace with the other two husbands. That's true in the sense that I really didn't mean to do anything to their detriment, but I also never expected them to be such shitty partners that they thought it would be okay to not even bring their wives flowers on Valentine's Day. But maybe I'm wrong for holding them to the standard I've set for my own relationship. Am I the asshole? Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Questions.
This one, I'm hoping you can sort of really elaborate on. Why are some men like the original poster and some men like the brother-in-laws?
Ooh. Wow.
I feel like you are like the original poster. You
Yes.
treat me like a queen. You treat our daughter like a queen. And then I hear so often, though, of my friends and their husbands or boyfriends are sometimes more similar to the brother-in-laws where the wives are an afterthought. Why?
Yes. Some people are what we call selfish. And that's the answer. Those men are selfish. And all people are born selfish to an extent. And I think biologically and by divine appointment, men are more selfish than women. And this is totally me making things up the next, but we talked about this.
We
just
did.
theorizing.
Like
right?
3 days ago.
Yeah.
I know where you're
pretty
going.
recently ago. It was recent. That's the right way to say that. So a couple days ago, we were talking about why would men be selfish, and anciently men were out hunting for food, and life or death was on the line. You know, food, life, no food, death. And so if you ran into other people who were also hunting and were unable to get food, and you were selfless and you just gave your food away, then your family dies. So there's got to be some sort of built-in instinct to take for yourself and not give to others. And now, in our modern day, when for most of the people and for the writers of this post, life or death due to starvation is really not on the table, the selfishness that was a survival instinct has now turned into selfishness that just causes problems.
I love that. That's kind of it's just crazy to me. I understand,
So
but
you really need to learn how to not be selfish. And it takes practice, it takes a lot of thought and effort.
right.
Or it did for me.
I think that a lot of people, and this is totally assumptions based on posts I see online, a lot of men start to prioritize things other than their wives, and like they prioritize their moms or their friends, and they start to learn selflessness, but it's not directed towards their wives. Why do you think that like wives are often an afterthought in American marriages? I don't know other countries.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I don't really have an answer. It could be because it's just traditionally patriarchal here. It could be because modern culture, like it's very common culture among men to make jokes about the wife being the ball and chain
Yeah,
and
why?
like a bad thing. Like that's common. Like, and apparently it's funny to some people. It's like, oh, the old ball and chain, or I'm in the doghouse. Like those comments, in my opinion, are never funny. And also, it's a terrible perspective on your relationship that you've chosen to be joint partners for with this person forever.
Anytime I hear somebody talk like that, I immediately lose respect for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, your wife is your closest confidant, best friend, closest partner, and you're talking about her like that. How are you going to talk about me, your coworker? How are you going to talk about, whatever?
Yeah.
I can't. That's a really insightful way of looking at that, and I appreciate your input. Okay, second question. Should he apologize?
Absolutely not. No. That wouldn't make any sense.
No. It's crazy.
Well, maybe. Okay. He could apologize. In a good book I've read called How to Win Friends and Influence People, being nice to people is always beneficial for yourself as well. And so he could, knowing that there is no need for himself to apologize, do it anyway.
Right.
Because then he has a good relationship with these people. And so and from a selfish perspective, they won't be mad at him, which could lead to good things in the future. And from an unselfish perspective, you can help these guys feel better at no detriment to yourself, right? If you're self-confident enough to know, hey, I didn't do anything wrong here, but I'm going to apologize just for the benefit of these other guys who have low self-esteem and are very selfish and rude to their wives, that's even better. So yeah, he probably should apologize. I changed my answer.
I like that. And do you have any other thoughts before I ask you the final question? Okay. Is he the asshole?
No, he's not.
Very clearly not.
He's a very sweet man.
So sweet. So nice. I love it. I put green flag on here when he said, like, I sent her the 3 dozen roses the first time that I had to miss something important because he noticed she loves flowers. Like, that wouldn't, I don't want people to copy and paste this in their life, because for me, I'm like, flowers are pretty and I appreciate when you get me flowers, but they die.
I get flowers more for me than for
you do.
when I do it.
And like, I've learned that about you. So like, now I will get you flowers sometimes. Like,
great
you know,
to have some fresh flowers on the table.
Yeah. But like, if this was in our relationship, 3 dozen roses wouldn't be the key
Right.
for me. I don't know what it would be.
You've
but
got to notice.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what it would be for you either.
Probably chicken nuggets. I don't know. But you know, it has to be, it's like there's something to be said for somebody who knows their partner so well that he can like nail it every time.
The other comment I'll make is the shipment was arriving late. And so he sent another.
Because he said like the thought of her not having something that day broke his heart.
Yeah. Like I probably would have just texted you and be like, hey, it's going to arrive tomorrow. Sorry. And that's how it is. And it probably wouldn't bother you as much because we have celebrated holidays on the days that aren't that specific holiday.
Yeah.
And it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
To us.
And we are also we aren't super big on gift giving anyway for like holidays like Valentine's Day. You and I aren't, but for other people's relationships that might have been really important.
So he went above
and beyond
his original, which was above and beyond.
The summary is, if he wanted to, he would. Ladies, you know, have you heard that?
Yeah.
He wanted to, he
I
would.
heard about that.
Okay. Ready for the last one?
Okay.
Am I the asshole for choosing to be with my heartbroken sister for Valentine's Day rather than my husband? So I, 29 female, am the oldest of 2 siblings, a brother, 28, and a sister who I will call Emma, 21, for the sake of this post. I am extremely protective towards my siblings due to our childhood, workaholic parents that were never there. When me and my 30 husband met 7 years ago, I explained I'm basically their mother, and when they need me, I will drop everything to go to them. Even before we got married, I made him promise to me that he accepted my loyalty with my siblings will always come first. Recently, my sister did something stupid which caused her childhood sweetheart, whom she'd been with since she was 15, to ghost her. Since the 9th of February, she's been staying at our home, and I've been helping her deal with her first heartbreak, which she's taking bad. Think Bella New Moon bad.
Uh-oh.
Of course, Valentine's Day being so close, it was going to be harder for her. You can imagine my anger when my husband decorated our bedroom and got me an over-the-top gift basket with extremely expensive makeup and skincare. I don't know if he made a stupid mistake trying to mean well or if he set out to prove a point, as he's been a bit of a crab towards my sister. He hasn't shown her any pity, nor does he support me, treating her like an innocent baby.
How old is she? Do we know the age of the sister?
21. And she was with the boy since 15. 6 years? Okay, anyway.
Yeah, it's a long time.
On Valentine's Day, he called me and said, get ready. He was taking me out to surprise me. I honestly was needing a break out of the house, and I was glad that we weren't fighting anymore. While I was getting ready, my sister entered the room and had a breakdown, which ended in a panic attack, and she was still crying in my arms when my husband entered our room dressed in a suit. I just mouthed, sorry, and he threw down the roses he was holding, screaming, fuck it, I can't take this shit anymore. He came back home around 3 a.m. and slept on the floor of our bedroom by his own wishes. Since then, he hasn't spoken to me. My brother has told me I was in the right as family comes first, but my friends are on my husband's side. Am I the asshole?
Talk about one person's insensitive, the other person overreacts.
Holy smokes.
We've got both people doing both in
It's
this
crazy.
situation.
Okay, my number one question is, what are your thoughts on this wife significantly prioritizing her like childhood family over her spouse? I say childhood family because I believe you to be my family. You know,
Yes.
I believe your spouse is your family. So that's what I
Me
mean by
too.
that.
Me too. I have an opinion. Let's get into
Share
it. The parents have a responsibility to the children. It sounds like the parents here didn't fulfill that responsibility. The parents of the wife and the sister. Those parents did not fill that responsibility. And so the sister seems like isn't wanting to go to her mother or father with this terrible situation.
Right.
That's understandable. Siblings do not have a responsibility to parent each other because that's not how it should go. It is not your duty as a sibling to be a parent because the parents are the parents, right? I hope that's clear. And so anything you do fulfilling that duty is very nice of you to do, but also it can cause yourself trauma.
Yes.
Being a parent before you're actually a parent is not fair to you. You don't get to be a child. And it's okay. We've established relationships. Parents are responsible to their children. They have a responsibility for nurturing their children. Siblings do not have a responsibility for parenting each other. Husbands and wife do have a responsibility to each other. You have legally, as well as emotionally, vows. You have vowed to do things and be there for each other always, forever. And so, in my opinion, the husband-wife relationship trumps all others. It is the person who you have chosen.
Right.
I didn't choose my parents. I didn't choose my siblings. They might be great. They might be gone. Either way, it was something I was born into, and it's a strong connection. But I think it's even stronger to go out and find someone and select that person for you to be with forever and to live with them rather than the people you are biologically connected to.
I agree so much. And it was so disappointing for me to hear in this post when she said, even before we got married, I made him promise to me that he accepted my loyalty with my siblings will always come first. Like, it sounds based on the way that she says made him promise that there was pushback potentially. Like, rightfully so. If you had come to me saying like, hey, Sarah, like, we're going to get married, but just so you know, if Todd, Ross, and Kelly need me at any point in time, you are chopped liver and I'm going straight to them. I would say, what? I'd say, no, we're not getting married.
Exactly. I would not marry the person who isn't fully committed to me.
Right. That's what it is.
Because that's not what marriage is.
Right. Right. So that's disappointing. And like the fact that this was Valentine's Day is sort of like, it doesn't matter.
It's a moot point.
There's so much more going on here. And it's an everyday problem.
It seems like it's a very repeated thing that has been bothering the husband for some time.
Yes.
We don't know whether or not he has brought that up as a discussion point in their relationship.
Right.
He probably should have a while ago.
Right.
And
if it's at the point where he's cussing at her, sleeping on the floor, and not coming home, like he's over it. He's annoyed.
But if he's tried to address it before and there's no change, then that's, like, in my opinion, she doesn't understand what marriage is.
I agree with that very much. I'm curious your opinion on using the silent treatment or like not sleeping in the same bed as your partner to prove a point. Like, what is your opinion of those things?
It's the opposite of productive.
Right? It would be considered
So,
unproductive.
yeah. So he, at the end, was the one who overreacted to her
Yes.
being insensitive.
Yes.
It did a lot of flip-flopping between the two roles there. He absolutely overreacted. And if you want your relationship to continue and be healthy, then, yeah, well, just imagine what people do who are in a healthy relationship and then do that.
I think that it's interesting, like the idea of the silent treatment, because I think that sometimes people may misconstrue healthy space taking as a silent treatment. And like, so I think what would have been appropriate in this situation is like they either leave, well, first of all, they leave the sister home and they go out to dinner. That's the most appropriate. But if that's not going to happen, he could say, this is really, really frustrating me. I need some space from this situation because I don't want to say something or do something that I do not mean.
Yeah.
And then you can be quiet and you can take 12 hours, you could take a day to like consider things. But like during that time, still function as a household, you know, and just don't discuss the hot topic point during that time. I think that's a silent treatment that is perfectly reasonable. But I'm not talking to you. And like someone is, the way that I imagine it is like someone is doing the dishes and you're like, what do you want for dinner? And they just like, don't reply. Like that's ridiculous. And that's not going to help a relationship at all.
No.
So
So you got to figure out, do I want this relationship to continue? If I do, you know, going to have to suck it up, do something that's uncomfortable, or just communicate. Like you said, give a warning for the silent treatment and a reason, an explanation.
Totally. Do you have anything else you want to say about this post?
We could go on, I bet, but we don't need to. I think I would just be repeating myself.
Okay, sounds good. So is she the asshole?
The author was the wife.
The wife who's helping the sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Now I will tell you how these were categorized. So post number 1, didn't get your wife anything for Valentine's Day, Jelly Bean Queen, was marked as the asshole.
Yeah.
Flower Man was marked as not the asshole by the masses. And this person, the final wife, was marked as the asshole.
Oh, so I agreed with the general populace.
You did. Congratulations.
That's great.
I know. Okay, so that was a lot of fun.
Oh, man. Valentine's drama.
Yeah. Do you have any plans for Valentine's Day, Scott?
Nope.
Me neither. We'll make some food together.
Yeah, we'll cook something.
We'll play Scrabble.
So if you have any Valentine's drama or you want to avoid some Valentine's drama, ask for how.
Yeah.
We might be able to chime in. Or if you have a Valentine's drama story, let us know.
Let us know. And if you need help planning something for Valentine's Day, drop your budget and your city in the comments and I will come up with something elaborate. Thanks so much for listening to this episode.
Do you have a love story worth sharing? Head to eternalcompanionspodcast.com to be a guest on our show.
And don't forget to check out the show notes.
See you next week.